Hello?
If you don't stop bothering me about ratings, I swear to God, you're making me lose my mind.
I need ratings. Ratings.
For what?
I don't want to be underrated.
I don't need ratings. I personally have plenty of good self-esteem around this show. I think we're doing a good job.
We need people who listen, who say, hello, I love you.
For what?
Don't you want to be loved? I want to be loved. We are
Don't you love me?
Podcast lovable.
No. If you're listening to this really pathetic thing right now and you wanted to stop, the easiest way to make that happen is to review the show and rate it on Apple Podcasts. He's not going to stop.
Your head.
He won't quit.
This is our moment. We need to have
rate the show, please. Okay, Adam,
what?
Knock it off. Adam! Travis?
Yes.
I thought he was going to go high. He went low.
When they go low, we go high.
I think this is about as high-pitched as I can get, to be honest.
Well, Adam, I was wondering. So now that I know Michelle Obama was your inspiration for that beautiful falsetto, we're going to have to let it go. But speaking of the halls of power, what's this business about a general?
Can you believe it? Like a major general. I mean, this is the commander of the Army's Maneuver Center of Excellence at Fort Benning, Georgia.
Do we have minor generals?
Not that I know of.
Okay, so big deal guy.
Certainly no general I ever knew thought of himself or herself as being minor.
What happened to this dude?
He posted a Facebook profile, or someone representing themselves to be him pasted a profile, saying he was single, living in Austin, Texas, and originally from Damascus, Syria. That's quite a break from the reality of the New Jersey native that our general was.
But he was not saying that he was from Damascus, New Jersey.
So this was really, once again, one of those scam profiles. And this was a scam profile used in connection with a dating site. And, there are a number of people that think it's cool to use a name and a photo of a military leader to create a fake profile, and especially on a romance site, because women do love men in uniform.
So women love a man in a uniform, do they?
Well, I don't know. I've never been in a uniform, but then again, I've never been loved. So I get it. It's okay.
I get it too.
Yeah. But,
so how'd he do? Did this guy get a lot of girlfriends?
Actually, I have been loved.
No.
Actually, my wife loves me very much. And you love me too, right? Well,
you are loved. We know it. We know you're loved. But I want to know, was this guy loved? Did the Major General get some love?
Well,
the fake Major General?
Nobody's really sure about how much love he really got, but to say the least, he was a little bit shocked.
Yeah.
And when this question was put to Facebook about this profile, the first response was, well, it doesn't really violate our community standards. And the answer is, no, why would somebody claiming to be a major general using the picture of a major general, who's actually a fraudster, why would that be considered violating community standards? That's a little curious, though.
It's very curious. I think I'm going to set up my hey, I'm interested in a speaking engagement. My name is Barack Obama account right away. And maybe I can start doing some public speaking.
Listen, I got another one for you. In 2020, scammers even impersonated Army General Paul Nakasone, who's the head of the U.S. Cyber Command.
For what, though? What did they do?
They were pitching themselves to women. It was a dating site.
Man, we really missed this boat.
Now, contemplate this. Here's a guy whose entire job revolves around cybersecurity and technical surveillance. That was a pretty ballsy move.
Yeah, it sounds like it, but maybe not for people at that level, but it's a really common scam. The U.S. Army's website actually has a spot to be able to report stolen identities. So if a soldier happens to see that that someone else has taken their name, likeness for a social media profile, again, it's widespread enough that the Army website actually has a form for soldiers to fill out for a pretty wide array of social media and dating sites.
It's well known that soldiers have been targets of people who are scamming for dating purposes or claiming to be.
But I didn't know the military was that organized. That's pretty cool.
Well, because it's become a really serious problem, and the military doesn't need young service members being taken for a ride and fleeced.
The other thing, too, is that since so many people in service members are stationed overseas, that actually gives them a great excuse for not being able to call or send a video or something. So,
welcome to What the Hack, a show about hackers, scammers, and the people they go after. I'm Adam, cyber romantic.
I'm Bo, cyber skeptic.
And I'm Travis, cyber grump.
Today on the show, we're talking to Angela, who went looking for love in all the wrong places.
This is Travis Taylor, resident tech guy and What the Hack with Adam Levin. I've worked for decades in all things tech, and in that time I've worked on a lot of websites. And I have to say, one of the easiest platforms to use has been Squarespace. I'm always getting asked by friends and relatives for help with their websites. And the beautiful thing about Squarespace is that I hardly ever get asked by anyone for help on their sites. Its intuitive interface makes building and maintaining a site for your business, organization, or just collection of photos of your cat quick and easy. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that can let anyone, even a complete novice, get up and running with clean designs that look great on any device or smartphone. It lets you share to social media accounts and has analytics to let you know how many people are coming to your site. If you want to sell things on your website, it also makes setting up e-commerce a snap. But don't take my word for it. Head to squarespace.com/whatthehack today for a free trial. If you like what you see, use promo code WhatTheHack to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain name.
Bo, Travis, and I created What the Hack with Adam Levin to share stories and provide the tips and tools necessary to better protect you, your family, and the nest egg you work so hard to build in a world filled with scammers, phishers, and identity thieves who are working around the clock to take it away. Our sponsor, Policy Genius, also works around the clock to protect you and your family by better educating you about the life insurance options available to you and giving you the platform to apply for the policy that best suits your needs. Policy Genius is your one-stop shop to find and buy the insurance you need. Go to policygenius.com, click on the link, and answer a few questions. In minutes, you can compare personalized quotes from top companies to find your lowest price. You could save 50% or more on life insurance by comparing quotes with Policy Genius. The team of licensed experts at Policy Genius will help you understand your options and apply for the policy you want. The Policy Genius team works for you, not the insurance companies. You can trust them to offer unbiased help and advocate for you at every step until you're covered. Head over to policygenius.com right now to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you can save. Angela, welcome to our show.
Hi, Adam. Happy to be here.
Delighted to have you. Where are you from?
I'm from New York originally, but the last couple of years I've been out in East Hampton since COVID. I've been spending more time out here at my house in East Hampton. So I'm a native New Yorker.
So anyway, Valentine's Day is coming. It's a time when certainly a lot of people try to connect to other people, and it's also a time when people try to take advantage of people. And we understand that you have a story that might fit right into that scenario about how you started your online dating career and, how it went and how you sort of ran into this particular person.
All right. Well, I never made a career out of it. I think I wasn't good at it, but yeah, how it started was, I don't even remember the app that it was because there are so many out there, but I remember it was a Saturday. I was in my loft in the city and it was like a Saturday morning and I was just like kind of, surfing around and connected with somebody. And then we like immediately started WhatsApping, we went on to WhatsApp, and that's like the tell number one that I've kind of learned, like in hindsight, when people want to get off the app.
Right.
So basically, we got onto WhatsApp and we were chatting, and it just like, honestly, we were chatting, we were just going back and forth, and we had so much in common, and we really connected, but it was only through, there was no voice at this point. We were only texting. So felt super connected. And, one thing led to another. And then I'm almost like swept up in it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the one for me. And, which I don't know. But I remember I had a friend, she was so funny. She's like, all right, wait a minute. She's like, have you spoken to him? She's like, have you met him? She's like, I think she was like, she realized what might be going on, but she didn't want to kind of, rain on my parade.
Is this the first person that you dated online, or were there a number of people that you met online? And were you happy with the quality of the people that you met online?
Yeah, no, I'm not. No, definitely not. No, I haven't met that many people online. I have to say, I haven't met that many people with online dating, and online dating I'm not happy with overall. I find it disingenuous. I find it a lot of people that aren't really themselves, and people that don't actually want to connect and meet people, or want to stay on text and not actually physically meet, things like that. So, I mean, as far as online dating, I have not had success with it. I have friends that love it and have gotten married, and, a couple, in fact, and people that it just really gels with them. And for me, it's just, I'm like an online dating dropout. I've been married once and divorced, and it was really hard to, meet people when you're married to your job. It's a little bit difficult. So that was why, but I don't think I've ever taken online dating seriously. Like, I don't, I remember I would have friends that they're like, you have to make it like your second job, and you have to, it's like, you have to commit to it. It's not something that I've ever felt like, I don't know. It just wasn't something that I could commit to. I have a hard time committing. I can't even commit to a dating app.
Was your profile a work of art?
No, it isn't. It wasn't. No, it's funny. It's funny you say that. No, I have a friend who, like, years ago, I remember, maybe like 15 years ago, I remember she was trying to meet somebody, and she actually met with a man who basically will write your profile and will take, this, people do this, they write the profile for you, they take you out and take photos and professional photos and things like that.
There's even a high touch service where they'll even talk to the person for you the first couple of times. And when I was single, I got approached by one of them, and it was literally a person who reached out and said, one of our clients is interested in dating you. We'd just like to do a preliminary interview. And they actually do the outreach. I think it costs something like $20,000.
Oh, wow. Well, you know what?
It's ridiculous. So it's endless that how much work it can be. But you didn't want to do it as you didn't want to do it as a second job.
No.
Did you have to verify who you were?
No. And this was a while. This was like, maybe, I don't know, maybe it was this was years ago, like up to 10 years ago, maybe, or 8 years ago. But now they try to get you to verify, like some apps will have you, you have the ability to verify who you are, but no, it's very loosey-goosey in this whole dating world. And they don't, I think it's, yeah, I mean, they mostly don't verify who people are. And that's the sad thing about it all. But the truth is, the dating apps are there to make money, and they're not really invested in you meeting people. That's not really, their business model is to keep you single. So you keep, if you're paying, you keep paying.
You started communicating with this person. Then what?
Yeah, so we were going back and forth. We were texting back and forth. And we actually did have one conversation on the phone. It wasn't a FaceTime or anything, but it was a conversation. And that also went really well, which was kind of surprising. Well, the thing was this. He said he said he lived in Tribeca, and I live in Soho. So in New York, that's downtown New York. So he said he wasn't in, he was overseas for a project. That's like another tell, just so you know. Overseas for a project.
Red flag.
red flag. And then he said, well, I didn't, but at the time it was like no flag because I didn't get the memo. So anyway, but it was weird because he looked, the pictures were amazing. He looked really, you get the gym shot with him with the weights, and he had a good body, and he was really good looking. And he said he lived in Tribeca. And I remember I even said what building, and he even mentioned like a building in Tribeca that he lived in that was legitimately a building in Tribeca. Right. And, he said, I'm away on this project. And so, so everything, again, like I think when you have that visual in your mind and then you're texting with someone and it's feeling right and you're having a connection and there's chemistry, and then you see the visual and the chemistry, it's like it really accelerates the feelings, And so anyway, so that went on. And, it's funny because when I was telling Bo the story, I said, it was kind of 2 weeks that felt like 2 years of my life. It wasn't that long. So what happened was, so we were going back and forth. We did have the phone call. Oh, and I remember this was really interesting. I remember telling him, because in hindsight, you look back, right? And I remember saying to him, that I had mentioned him to my friends. And he's like, it's maybe don't say anything. It's like, he didn't want me to tell, because probably people would be like, this guy's a catfish. So he's like, why don't you not say anything to your friends, yet, or something like that. So that was another tell that I kind of missed. We had exchanged emails. And I remember setting up like a new email, because I'm like, I don't really know this guy, and I don't want to, let me just set up like it was weird. I don't know. I just decided to set up a new email account. So
that's a very good idea.
Well, that was a good idea.
Yeah, that's very smart. Yeah, good job.
That's the New York in me. Like a little bit of that like savviness came through. Yes. So, and then I remember him sending me like this beautiful like letter. Like the guy was really romancing me. And I think, looking back, I was thinking, I think there's like a few of them and there's women involved. And I feel like it's like this cartel of people, I don't know, this dating cartel.
Did you feel that you were being rushed in this?
Not at the time. I didn't feel that way. No, I didn't feel that way. No, I was very up in it. I'm like, oh, this guy is so, this, like I was super into it, and I didn't feel rushed at all. I thought it was like, oh, this is, sometimes you just like meet somebody and it's like the right like they ever say like love at first sight, like love at first text, but you meet somebody and it's just like, it just feels right. It really just felt right, which is so weird.
So keep going. Now, what you have these flags that you categorized as no flag.
I had the flag, no flag syndrome. Yeah, no, I didn't. It wasn't it. No. So, okay. So what happened next? What happened next was he started telling me he was a contractor on this project, and he started like confiding a little bit about this business dealing that he apparently had his own company, and he was there doing a project, and he was doing some building of something, and he said that the person that he bought the materials from that he used to create the project, the building or whatever, they were faulty materials. So he had to go back in, and he was going to have to like redo a big part of this job that he had done. And that's when he said, and I was like, wow, that's, and I'm just like listening, and I'm like, yeah, that's like, sorry to hear that, and then he was like, he's like, well, it's, and then he's going to cost like $30,000. And he said something like, and I'm just, wow, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry that happened, and I'm just like trying to be supportive, like, I don't know what else I'm going to say at that point.
It's like, let me give you a digital hug, I'm sorry it didn't work out, but
exactly.
I'm here for you.
My virtual hug.
Was he in a position to know a bit about your background, what you do for a living, that you did okay financially, or was he just, do you have any idea if he had a sense of who you were in real life?
I don't know. I don't remember if I told him that I owned my business. I don't remember if I said I owned my business or not. So possibly if he thought I owned a business, like he would think, well, she's an owner of a business, she must have money. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, the only reason I ask, Angela, is because with just a very few data points, there's something called open source intelligence. And that is this fancy way of saying that anything that I can find online publicly, from your LinkedIn account to whatever, is a way for me to learn stuff about you. And I can usually if somebody has had a career of any kind, I just need their name. And I can sometimes do it with a first name and what they do for a living if they've cast a long enough shadow in their business. There are ways to re-identify somebody, and I was just kind of curious how rigorously careful you were, or if you think it's possible he might have been able to figure out that you might be good for the 30 grand. Because we got a pin stuck in this when you said that he was out 30 grand, and it's, the next step was him asking for help, I'm guessing.
The other question is, did you feel like while you were communicating with him over the past couple weeks that this was going on, that you might have been unconsciously giving information about yourself that would help create the profile, the real profile for this guy?
Yes. You know what? Yes. And when you just said that, I may have made reference to having another home outside the city. I think I did say something about that, like, when he comes back, or we can go away, or something like that. Yes, I'm sure that there was something that I said in a benign way that, would be would be like a sign to him that I'm more established.
Now, at what point during your interchanges with him did he get to know your real name, or did you put your real name on the app to start with, or how did that?
I put my real name. Yeah. I thought, yes, that's weird. I guess, I don't know. I'm not going to put like a fake name. But you know what, in today's day and age, like, maybe you need to put a fake name. Like, you need to have a moniker for dating.
Yeah.
I mean, I very much think that along with that email address that you created for this dating safari, that you also might want to make up a name for it.
I mean, Bo has been successfully using Rico Suave for years, so.
Hey, Adam, you're not, I have retired that name, but what if I need to use it again?
Well, because I've been using it, figuring that, you weren't using it for a while.
How's it going?
Not so good.
Yeah, it never worked for me either. Today's episode, it's sponsored by Honey. It's a shopping tool that scours the internet for promo tools and applies the best ones to your cart when it finds them. For me, I just bought some rubber shoes so that I could walk around in the mud more comfortably. And I went to a site and they asked me if I had a promo code, and I did. But it was because I wrote it down and I had to type it out. Well, Honey does all that work for you. It even finds it.
So has Honey saved you money, Honey?
Yeah, Honey saves you money. That's the thing. They support over 30,000 stores online. Travis, how does this stuff work? Is it really invasive, or is it pretty chill on the privacy front?
On the privacy front, they're great. Their privacy policy says just outright that they will never collect and sell your data, which is great to have it be listed that in such basic and simple terms. But their revenue model does not depend on collecting your data like a lot of other services do. So their bona fides for privacy are great.
Honey has found its over 17 million members, over $2 billion in savings.
If you don't have Honey already, you could be really missing out. It's literally free. It installs in a few seconds. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting our podcast. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/WTH. That's joinhoney.com/WTH.
Extreme.
Travis,
They're one of the
how
absolute
common
most
are
common
dating
forms
scams?
of scams that you can run into online. And I think a lot of the reasons why they're relatively easy to set up are some of the things that we're discussing right now, where it's not that hard to set up an identity online. It's not that hard just to take someone else's picture or their name, get in contact. I mean, really the entire nature of going onto a dating site is you're trying to open yourself up to somebody else and give them information, let them get to know you. And from a scam perspective, that is just exactly what they're looking for. They can get a lot of valuable data, and also provide if they feel like that you're emotionally connected to them, then they can exploit that to try to get money. I think one thing too that a lot of people overlook is it's not really just a question of like one person running one scam at a time. There's a guy in the UK who was arrested a couple of weeks ago on 670 counts
Whoa.
of romance scams.
I'm exhausted.
Man.
Yeah.
Wow. He really must be.
No, I did a show a while back. There were two women. They were both caregivers, nurses. Each one was scammed for over $60,000, but they paid. And it was, a very gut-wrenching experience for them. And so what happens also is that depending upon how open you are on social media and how close your profile is to your social media profile, you run the risk of people who will research people, and then they will pull on their heartstrings based on their areas of interest. And like when you're dealing with two caregivers, you're dealing with compassionate, caring human beings. And, you play that card, because these folks will play whatever card they can get wherever they can find it in the deck. How did you feel at the precise moment where this fellow said, and so if you could help me with about 30,000, that would be awesome.
Well, did he do that? Did he ask for 30 grand? 30 grand?
He did it after I was said I was said I was sorry that happened. And then he said something. I think he was like waiting for the right moment to spring the question, like, well, do you think you could lend me the money?
That's all 30 grand. But like, that's the right moment for that, as far as I'm concerned, is like after 20 years of marriage.
And even then,
the answer is no.
He said, well, and I immediately was struck like straight. I was immediately, I was all like up in this like romantic whatever. And then all of a sudden it was like someone threw cold water on my face. And I'm like, I don't even know you, and it was funny because, we had shared all this, like, again, in these kind of like whirlwind romances, 2 weeks felt like 2 years. So we had shared a lot. But all of a sudden I'm like, I don't even know you. It was just, really, it was kind of crazy. And that's when
he was love bombing the hell out of you,
a big time. But that's when I realized, I was like, and then I said, you're not even your picture. That like all of a sudden my heart sank, and I'm like, this guy's not even this isn't even the guy that I think he is. Because I realized it was a scam at that point. And then what happened was I was mad, and I said, who are you? I'm like, you're probably not even those photos. And he's like, no, it's me. And I said, well, send me a video right now. I remember being really mad, and I was like super irate. And I just said, well, send me a video. I said, get off the phone, take a video of yourself with your phone and send it to me.
Now, this was after he asked you for the money, yeah?
Yeah.
And were you like, if he sent you a video and he was even hotter in real life, would you have sent him the 30 grand?
You know what? That remains to be seen, because that didn't happen.
So what did happen?
Let me check my bank account. No, I think, no. Okay. This is the funniest part of the story. I get a video. He sends me a video that's not even the pictures of the guy that in the profile. So, and it's somebody else, and the person is talking, and no, the person is lip syncing. Like the voice didn't match I don't know who the video was of. The video was not of him. It was of somebody else. I don't know who it was, but it wasn't even like the voice wasn't. It was almost like subtitles. It was almost like when your movie is dubbed into another language.
Some of my favorite movies in Chinatown in the 80s were like that.
That's exactly what I got. I was just like, I was like, it was just so ridiculous to me. I was like, how could, and I just remember being like, I just texted back. I was like, I'm just like, that's sad that, I thought you were somebody else, and this is just whatever.
30 grand. You think she could have taken those photographs and done a Google image search with them and come up with anything? I've tried that in the past and it doesn't work. But I'm curious, is there some way to, if they were stock images, obviously, they might have popped up.
Yeah, you can try to do a reverse lookup, but it is trickier when you're dealing with a human subject.
Well, Google has, if you go to Google image search, there's a icon of a camera in the corner, and you can just drag an image into the search window and click search, and it will, that's what you're talking about. I don't really consider that a reverse lookup, but that is not going to work with humans because it'll just give you other smiling men.
Right, exactly. And it's also super easy just to make a deep fake of a person.
Oh, so it doesn't look like anyone at all.
Yeah, there's a website called thispersondoesnotexist.com, and it's a little bit eerie because what it is, it's something that takes a deep fake. So it's looking at all the different pictures it can find of people online, and it makes reasonably convincing looking fake people. Usually at a high enough resolution that if you just hit refresh a couple of times, you can say, "Oh, that person looks handsome." Then you can just put that on your social media icon, and that photo, since it's unique and uniquely generated, would not show up if you're doing a lookup for that one picture, that one person.
And can they put that head on like the same person doing different things, or is it just the one photo?
It's just the one photo, but there's deepfake technology that can let you do a little bit more than that.
So this is AI or deepfake or both?
Yeah, it's deep learning.
AI.
So it's a deepfake that uses AI.
How'd you feel about online dating after that experience?
I got off of it. No, I got off of it. And I'll be honest, it's like I'm single now, and I go on, and I just see all fake profiles. That's all. I feel like I'm a fake profile magnet or something. All I see are fake profiles. Like, cause I know what to look for. I know, and the person is always asking about, like, how are you and what are you like? Men are not like that. They want to talk about themselves. They don't care about how you are. No, but it's true. It's no, like.
So the only way, so now you've just given valuable instructions to a scammer, which is like be a narcissist, and then you'll get through the catfish detector.
Yeah, exactly.
But Angela, listen, thank you so much for sharing your story and insights and waving the flag, which is important. We need to have a lot of flag waving here. Thank you very much for coming on and sharing.
Well, thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun and not too painful thinking about. No, I'm kidding.
Thanks, Angela, for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Hey, look, I've been on dating sites. I mean, there was a period of years when I did that. I met some interesting people, some angry people, but and I remember that it was a crime to be charged with being a serial dater. That's when you were doomed. But
with like Special K or Rice Krispies or.
Well, I was trying to figure out which cereal, but it's sort of like it's like. All you do is date. You never commit to anything.
But did you ever do? You were never, as I recall. I think that you've been in a relationship since the advent of the smartphone app dating sites.
Oh, absolutely. Plus when I originally did dating back in the 1800s, it was just sites. It wasn't.
Well,
really
there was just a
apps.
Yenta, correct? There was.
That's correct.
So, Travis, what about you?
I haven't been single since 1999, actually.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I'm a bit of a
But
lifer.
boy, did you party like it was 1999, right?
I've been on them, and they are kind of there's only one word to describe it, which has to be bleeped, which is show. They're kind of nuts, and I thought that Angela did a pretty good job, all things considered.
I think so. I mean, at least she can now tell you what the red flags were But the important thing is when it came time for the race to start,
Mm-hmm.
she didn't fall for it. As a matter of fact, she pretty much threw cold water on it.
Well, I was also struck by, the fact that she set up an email account that was for just this purpose.
No, I thought that was very impressive because so many people don't actually do that. So, Travis, what are some good tips for people in situations like this?
Well, yeah, I have to agree that her creating a separate email account was was spot on. That also means that it's a lot easier to disengage contact. But one thing that I think that she should have done and that she mentioned was to stay within the ecosystem of the dating site or app itself. Because once you start giving them access to, say, your cell phone number, how you are on WhatsApp, that's actually easier for them to find out more stuff about you. And it's harder to cut them off if you end up finding out that that's a scam.
Staying inside the app is fine, but I will tell you that this is essentially a con job, right? Really, this is an ultimate con where they pretend to be somebody they're not, and they can do that within the app, inside the app or outside of the app. It doesn't really matter.
They can, but it's easier to report.
Yeah. No, you can get them banned, but if they've set up serial accounts, not
But
Rice Krispies, not Raisin Bran accounts, they can just jump to another one, I think. But it doesn't seem to me, this is the same situation, Adam, as Instagram not recognizing that a potential fraudulent logon when they easily could say, oh, this IP address is not the right IP address. It seems like the dating apps, all of these apps, none of them are really in the business of catching threat actors. They're in the business of the business they're in.
I think, though, that with the kinds of problems that have arisen from these dating apps, that at some point they're going to really have to focus on more privacy and security, which is kind of tough when people want to get to know each other and will inevitably be drawn off the app.
Well, we should just start a new app, Adam. Remember the dating game?
Yes,
That would be the way to do it, right? Because you couldn't see who you were talking to.
this is true.
We should do that, I think.
But part of the problem is when you can't see who you're talking to.
Well, but the host can. You could see them, Adam.
Well, all right, then.
Let's do it. I think we should do it.
We're going to start that right away.
I think one of the things with dating apps, though, is that they have a very powerful incentive to not fully implement better security standards. Because if you say, if you're advertising on the fact that you have 50 million single people on your app, and then you get rid of all the fake ones, and you find out that you have 5 or 10 million people on your app instead, that immediately makes you look like a lot of your market share is a lot smaller. That makes you look like a lot smaller pool and a less enticing app or a network to be a part of. And I think that's something that is definitely the case too with social media. That if they were to get rid of all those, then that would actually make them sound a lot less popular.
Okay, so guys, there's also a whole family of apps that will tell you when somebody's nearby so that you can hook up. And they are usually a little more get right to business oriented apps. And I'm not going to name them by name, Grindr, Field. But they do exist and they are often about hooking up. Like I'm not looking for Mr. or Mrs. Right. I'm looking for Mr. or Mrs. Right now. And to me, I can't think of anything more terrifying than an app that tells people exactly where I am. And I know you, Adam, have put a token on my phone that already tells you that, but like I've gotten used to it.
We actually now, anyone that listens to the podcast, if they look really, really carefully before they click on the play, there's like a teeny little flashing icon that if they click it, it's a Google view of your home.
You're really just pushing it now.
With an address.
Really?
And a phone number and an email address.
This is your address, though. You wouldn't do that to me.
Of course I would. Because it's all about people getting up close and personal.
Swine. So, but that is the other thing that's out there. And I do think so with all of these apps, buyer beware. I mean, if you're user beware, if you're getting on there, think it through. Like, and Angela said something super, super important, which is you're dealing with people who want something and sometimes want something right now. And they need to pray to be saved from what they want.
So I guess the point of the story is when you're dating, don't just practice safe sex, practice safe tech.
Hey, if you like What the Heck with Adam Levin, you can do us a favor. Go on Apple Podcasts and give us 5 stars. It really helps people find the show. And if you really, really like the show, give us a review too. All that lets people know that What the Heck with Adam Levin is something that they should check out. Thanks a lot. What the Heck with Adam Levin is a production of Loud Tree Media.
It's produced by Andrew Stephen, the man with 2 first names.
You can find us online at loudtreemedia.com and on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Adam K. Levin.